What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since we've been in the fish tank room. Um, the last couple of videos that we did was unboxing videos. We got a bunch of fish from California cichlids, and then we got a handful more from tropical imperials, all of which were my favorites that I've been waiting for a while. They've all been doing great. I'll make a short little clip of each one. Well, my favorites anyway, and show you how everybody's been doing. I changed some things in the fish room here. We took the flower horn and put him into the 75-gallon tank, and I got rid of the Tanganyika cichlids. Weren't quite my style. I didn't really like them. They didn't do much in the tank. They kind of boring, to be honest. My grandson loved them, so I ended up sending them over to his house for his tank. Maybe we can do some sort of update on his tank someday, but it needs a good cleaning. Anyway, this video is going to be more of an update on the fish and how everything is doing, any changes that I've added to the tank, and we're also going to do a FX-6, a Fluval FX-6 filter cleaning. Yeah, so let's get into it. First, let's talk about some of the changes that have been made in the tank. One of the biggest changes, obviously, is the amount of stone that I have in the back. When I took down the Tanganyika tank, I took all the rocks that were in there and I put them all in the Malawi tank. Just so that way we can beef up a little bit on the beneficial bacteria, and also just give a little bit more spots for these fish to hide and rocks and caves to cruise through. I know that these guys are like open water swimmers, but when they're being chased, they need somewhere to go. And by doing this, it actually toned down a lot on the aggression. There's still some chasing going on in there. I don't think you'll ever get rid of it 100%, but this did a lot. Just adding the rocks and the caves and the sight breaks, I've noticed a great deal of aggression change in the tank for the better. But as you can see, they're still chasing, but nothing crazy. It's very short, very quick. Another thing that I did is I have a wave maker in the tank. I have a Jabo, I think it's a SP90 or SC90. I'll put that across the bottom and exactly what it is. But that's it up there in the top right corner. I also bought another one of those and added it to the left-hand side. So we have two now, one on either end of the tank. One of the reasons I did that is for aggression. I've seen in some other videos that people say that the more current there is in the water, the less aggression there is. I haven't seen much change with that, but adding the stones is where I saw the most change. Another reason why I added it is you can see all the sand being pushed to one side of the tank over here on the right. I added this one just the other day, and now you can see it's starting to get pulled back. Just trying to keep it a little bit more even across the bottom. The sand is one thing that drives me nuts when looking at this tank, is having it all piled up in one corner. These guys do enough damage to the sand as it is just by sifting. But this is it. We got all the stones in there. Got two wave makers, two big wave makers as well. You can see the current across the top here. I gotta top the tank off, but I left it a little bit low just to show how much current is really in the water. This tank is also filtered by an FX-6, which we're gonna clean today, and also an FX-4. I've had both of these filters going since these guys were in the 75-gallon tank. I have cleaned the FX-4 once and the FX-6 once, but I don't do them both at the same time. I'll clean one now, and then in about 3 months from now I'll clean the other one. And I usually wait anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Once you start noticing the power in the pump return coming into the tank is starting to die down a little bit, then you know it's time to clean it, and that's about where I am on the FX-6. So let's get into that. Let's get that cleaned up, show you guys how I do it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to close both of these valves. That valve doesn't feel very good right now. Doesn't completely close, just spins right around. But second thing you're going to do, you're going to trace down the power wire and get it unplugged. Then on either side of the valve, there's a button down here. Push that and pull them up. Same on both sides. That one's not completely off, but just spin it till it is. There it goes. Made a little bit of a mess. Grab a towel, dry that up. Cleaning these things never go as neat as you want them to, but anyway, we'll dry that up. I'm going to pull this out of here, show you the next step. All right, the first thing I do is I fill up 2 buckets full of water. And this is the water that I have mixed up to go into the tank. I'll explain how I do all that later in the video or in another video. But I fill both of these up with water, then we'll get the FX-6 opened up and show you what that looks like after 3 months. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to take all of these bolts off. Doesn't really matter the order that you take them off in. Does matter the order that you put them back in. Kind of like putting on a car tire, you want to go side to side. Take those off, fold them all down. If they don't fold down, it means you missed one or you just didn't loosen it up enough. Once you get all those done, grab both sides and pull the lid off. I know I just said a few minutes ago after 3 months, but this is after 6 months. But that was the last time that I did it, was 6 months ago on the FX-6. And then this is what it looks like inside. I did grab another bucket just so I can take all the sponges out and have somewhere for them to go. Try to tone down a little bit on making a mess. But anyway, grab these red handles here, pull those up, and this whole thing will pull out. Try to let most of the water drain out if possible. The clips off. These red clips go right from the top to the bottom. Pull those right off on both sides. They were right here in this row. Throw them off to the side, then you can start taking everything out. All the sponges. So my top one I always have all sponges in it. Below that I just have filter media. On the next 2 racks, the outsides are still the sponges. Water comes into this, goes through the outside sponges, down through the top, through the filter media, and back into the tank. These things are disgusting. Next step is going to be to take these sponges and rinse them out. That's why I got 2 buckets. This first one gets nasty real quick. The second one doesn't take too long to get gross either, but let's give them a good squeeze and cleaned up. And leave them right into the second bucket. going to fill this one bucket up one last time. Then I'm going to take the crates here out onto the porch and also the FX-6 container out and rinse it off. And then I'm going to start putting things back together here. Alright, so I got everything out here on the porch. First thing we're going to do is we're going to dump the FX-6. It's pretty grody in there still, so we're going to give it a quick rinse with the hose. We're going to do the same thing with all the crates here too before we start getting the sponges and everything back in there. I don't make them perfect, I just get them somewhat clean. Alright, that bucket's all filled up. Ready to rinse them sponges one more time. But this time we're going to put them right back into the crates here. Make sure you have it all lined up. This filter pad I put in the top of this red crate. There's a red crate for every one of these as well. I don't use those. But what I do is I get some filter floss from Amazon, or I think this time I bought it at Petco, and I put that underneath the red in here. And you drop the whole thing right back down in. Now before you put your lid on, you're going to want to fill this with water just so that it's primed up. So I'm going to grab that pump again. Stick that right into the side. And fill it up. Once that's filled up, we can get the top put back on. You can watch into the sides. You don't have to fill it right up to the brim. You can see it come up through this pipe or around the sides and get it, I don't know, a little more than 3/4 of the way full. And you're about done. Again, this is the water that I have mixed up for topping off the fish tanks or water changes if needed, which I really don't do water changes. I think I've talked about that in another video, but maybe that's for another video on how I do the water parameters and all that. But anyway, this is full. I said 3/4 and it's about to overfill, but at least we know it's primed, right? When you take your lid, this pipe here is going to go into this hole, go all the way down. It's not going all the way down. What's happening here? Oh, my handle's holding me up, I believe. There we go. Yeah, this is why I say to go 3/4, not all the way, because then you have a mess. Then you clip all your bolts, you pull them back up, clip them around the top, and this is where it matters how you tighten them up. So you go side to side, same amount of turns. And then we get the FX-6 back into its place. And we reattach the clips, but I'm going to try to dry this off a little bit better. Alright, so now we're going to hook it back up. And the way that this works is this line is coming out of the tank and going into the filter. So you want to put it on the in. That obviously leaves the out, which is what out of the filter is going into the tank, is how these things are marked. We're going to open these back up. You'll hear all the air bubbles coming out, which means that it's primed. And then we're going to get it plugged back in here. Sorry, there's not a lot of room on this side of the tank. Plug that back in. See a lot of gunk coming out of the return there, but I can already tell that there's a lot more power coming out of there. Now I believe it's after 2 minutes it shuts off for 30 seconds to purge the air back out. And it also does that once a day, every day. But anyway, that's how you clean a FX-6 filter. Let me get this room cleaned up, and we'll show you the tank when it's back to clear. So another thing that I would suggest is when doing a filter change, you're stirring up a lot, and you could get a little bit of an ammonia spike in there. You could add some prime. Chem Prime is a savior, so is the stability, and I swear by the clarity. I'll show you the clarity here in a second. Turn the pump on and let it fill up. While this is filling, I will put in a clarity, which reminds me that I have to pick some more of this up. But says it's 1 cap full for every 40 gallons. So this is a 150-gallon tank, and I always just put 3 caps in it. You'll see the water go real cloudy, and about an hour from now, it'll be perfect. Probably could put another cap in there, but I never do. I only ever use 3. And I only do that when I top up the water or when I mess with the filters. But I swear by this stuff. Chem, all their products are great. And here we are, about 30 minutes later. Got that clarity just started to clear up. And that water is starting to get real clear now. And this video is for the FX-6, but it's the same thing for the FX-4. Just a couple less strays, that's it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And let me know what else you'd like to see in these videos.